Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Nick
I'm Seahawks Orbit.
I'm Shicey's Domain.
from Top Notch Sports, and this is the No Fly Zone podcast, episode 3 of NFL Week 5. We're already here, ladies and gentlemen. So today we got a few guys on with us. You're going to continue to see people join us, leave us. We got different experts coming on at every given moment. These guys run their pages on Instagram and all kinds of stuff. So again, be sure to give them a follow. But real fast, the very first segment of this episode of the the Fire and Flip podcast. I'm thinking Survivor now. Of the No Fly Zone podcast. That's our other podcast. Is going to be what the hell happened to Cincinnati. So Shicey's Domain, you run an Instagram page, you cover the Cincinnati Bengals. What are your thoughts on what's going on in Cincinnati and Joe Burrow and everything going on over there?
Well, I think first of all, obviously the big thing has definitely been Burrow's calf injury. Burrow, like he's not necessarily a Mahomes type or even an Allen type of scrambler, but he's really good the second he gets to do play action and roll out. So I feel like that has hindered the offense. The offensive coordinator hasn't done a great job of working with that so far. And then, the Tennessee game was tough. You saw the defense playing phenomenally on Monday night and then come into a short week having to try to tackle Derrick Henry. You saw guys bouncing off them. Like they just did not have the energy needed to play that game. So, I mean, I think it's scheme. I think it's multiple different things. I think the guys kind of came in expecting to be the same team that they were last season, and the coordinators expected the same schemes to work, and it just hasn't. But it's a 17 game season. We're only 4 weeks in. There's definitely plenty of time to turn this around. But as of right now, it's not looking great in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened to my lighting in here. Our power might have went out. Let me ask you
You know
this.
what's crazy, Nick, is that literally there was like a I don't know, like a fire like in the kitchen below my building, and so like everyone had to exit for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we're gonna continue to try to get this thing going. Look, Cincinnati is 1-3. Okay. And you don't want to fall low, right, especially in the standings in the AFC North, because AFC North is really a tough division. And like you just mentioned, it's a long season, 17 game season, 1-3 start is not great at all. Okay. We all know that. Here's the thing. Joe Burrow hasn't been looking great. And again, I really got to credit this to the calf injury, right? I mean, it is the calf injury. Defenses are flying around the field at 100% speed, and Joe Burrow is honestly probably operating about 60% speed. So when that happens, that's really not what you want to see. Now, the thing is this. He still has a ton of weapons. Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. There's a ton of weapons to get the ball to. They just haven't been able to. So, what's your opinion on the Joe Burrow? Look, you're 1-3, like you mentioned, right? You're struggling, but the weapons are there, right? How aren't they able to get the ball into these guys' hands? You got a solid run game with Joe Mixon. You got the weapons. Can't they figure something out with Joe? It's still Joe Burrow at the end of the day. So what's your take there?
The tough thing is it's his right calf, so it's the calf that he needs. It's like he needs to be pushing off of the throw. So you look ever since the season started, his throwing motion. He's had to throw all arm. So one, he can't get the ball out nearly as fast as he needs to. So that's why all of his routes are so short. And then defenses are now playing like the Titans played cover one basically the whole game. They like we're gonna make you try to throw deep on your bummed calf that you can't throw more than 30 yards on. You can't zip it. So like we're just gonna really make you like have to throw it as hard as you can again. And obviously bro just can't throw it as hard as he can when he's 100% healthy. So I
Yeah.
think that's one. So then defenses are just playing so uptight, and then just like the routes that the Bengals are trying to get Jamar and T and Tyler Boyd open on. You looked at the Rams game; they started using motion, and that had a huge effect on Burrow's efficiency. And then they just stopped doing that against the Titans. So I feel like they just need to come up with better ways to get guys in space, and then like Burrow can still throw the ball 15 yards downfield. He doesn't have to throw 7 yards or under every play. You can stretch the defense out a little. You're not going to be taking a whole lot of shots. But again, I feel like the coordinator, like Zach Taylor and Ryan Callahan, have not done a fantastic job of adjusting to Burrow's injury. But yeah, I feel like you definitely have the weapons. There's got to be some way you can still be pretty efficient. They just haven't figured out what that is quite yet.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. Okay. At the end of the day, you know, this guy was ranked my number one, two, three, four. I had him ranked as my fifth ranked quarterback last year or coming into this season. That's based on talent and game day preparation. I think he's very smart. I think he has talent. And I still think he's probably my 5th ranked guy. Okay. My rankings don't change much because it's still the same things I like about Burrow then, I still like about him now. It's just that the injury really hurts these guys. And the guys that said Burrow's the number 1 quarterback after last year, and the guys that are saying, he's a worse quarterback this year, they fluctuate way too much, right? Quarterbacks are still about the same talent-wise from year to year. It's just situation changes. And right now, the situation for Joe Burrow has changed a little bit. The thing that's driving me nuts is the team can still be winning games. They got the talent there. If Burrow's struggling, let Mixon run. And if the defense want to step up, he still, I know it's a cap, but he can still let it rip. You can still throw the ball with a calf strain, and I know he can. They got to get the ball to T. Higgins, right? He's been underwhelming so far this season. Besides that one game, I think it was last week, right? Not this past game, but the one a week ago, he finally got involved. And because they're probably going to be double teaming Jamar Chase. You got Tyler Boyd, too, who's one of the best slot receivers in the league. So they got to get the ball to their playmakers' hands. Seattle, what's your small take? I know you're not a Bengals guy, but you guys play these guys to, on October 15th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And if Seattle does what they just did to Daniel Jones, to Joe Burrow, he may not play the rest of the season. So, what's your opinion there?
Well, I actually have one question. How is the Bengals offensive line been so far this year? Like, I don't know if it's been good or not, but like just based on the offensive production, I don't know if it really has been.
I'll throw in there. I think he's been sacked 8 times this season, which would say that he's getting sacked about 2 times per game so far to this point. So,
not that bad then.
Yeah.
It's been better than it definitely was. That's for darn sure. The offensive line is not the reason for the offensive struggles. I'll put it that way. It's been play calling.
Super Bowl, you guys did not have a good offensive line at all.
Nope. So, you think with a good offensive line you'd be able to do something, but coordinators just did not come up with a way to use Burrow when his calf is hurt.
Sure. So, all right. So let me just throw this out there. Let me sum this up. Ultimately, you're 1-3. I had this team making the playoffs and making a strong push, possibly Super Bowl contenders. At 1-3, you dug yourself in a pretty deep hole. To dig yourself out of this hole, you're probably looking wild card if you can make it at this point, because the AFC is a tough division. Conference. The question is going to be, can they do it? So real fast, I'm going to put everybody on the spot. And I don't even know my answer yet, but I got a lot then, I guess. Do they ultimately make the playoffs starting at 1-3? We're going to start Seattle, then I'll go, then we'll sum up with Shicey's domain. So Seattle, what are you thinking?
Well, another question I have. Who are they playing next week?
Cardinals.
Okay. So you guys should win that game, but don't get me wrong here. The Cardinals, they're going to put on a fight. They've been doing that every week
for some
week
reason.
1. I can tell there's a difference in that locker room, and I can tell that Jonathan Gannon is probably getting the job done in there, which is nice. I think there's a real possibility that the Bengals could miss the playoffs despite all the talent they have on paper. But if they start to get everything in sync, then they'll definitely make the playoffs, in my opinion. But at this point in time, I don't think they're going to win the division, though.
Okay, so final point. This is, will they make the playoffs? You're on the spot. No, if this, if that, yes or no, it is a?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to also say yes. I would find it, again, I could be kicking myself in the ass because 1-3 is tough to work out of. But on this team,
I'm not entirely sure about that. Yes, but I'm just going to go with yes.
The talent on this team, they should be able to figure it out and get to the playoffs. So I'm going to go with a yes. Shicey's domain. Don't feel you have to say yes because you run a Bengals page. What's your honest opinion? We'll all be held accountable at a later date. Do you think they make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they do. They started 2-3 last season. They started out 0-3 in the division too. And they're 0-2 right now. And then, went on that crazy 10-game run. So we know, like we've seen Joe Burrow in all 3 of his seasons pick up steam after, kind of week 6, week 7. That's when he starts playing like MVP level Burrow. And he has a bye week in 2 weeks. He plays the Cardinals and then Seahawks. So if you can come out of that 3-3 and then get a bye week to rest up. I know you play the Niners next, but
pause. I actually have a serious question. Has he, like the other 2 seasons where you guys started slow, was he injured or no?
No, the offensive line was just not good the first 2 seasons. So he was just sacked. He was sacked 15 times through 3 games last season. So
it's a different thing this year. It's gonna be tough. They're going to have to fight through it. I think that we're going to see a real fiery Bengals team coming out next week against Arizona. But that Arizona team with Jonathan Gannon, I didn't like Jonathan Gannon. He's making that team fight, and it's going to be a fight next week. That's all from us. If you guys have any other questions, comment in the comment section below. We'll get back to you guys in a later date. We're going to get to the next segment now in about 2 seconds. So let's see you guys soon. Peace. We are Built Better. See you guys soon. Peace.
180. 180, set. Hehehehe